Here's a question that might sting a little. Are you actually dating different people? Or are you just swiping right on the same person with different faces? Think about it. Your last 3 relationships. That friend who always complains about the same relationship drama. The pattern you see but can't quite name. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind why your heart keeps choosing the same story, just with different actors. And more importantly, how to finally change the script. Meet Sarah. She's intelligent, successful, and has great friends, but somehow she always ends up with partners who are emotionally unavailable. She'll spend weeks analyzing that 3-word text, "Hey, how's work?" She screenshots conversations to her friends asking, "What do you think this means?" The guy takes hours to respond, and Sarah's mind races through every possible explanation. He's busy. He's not interested. He's playing games. She finds herself drawn to men who seem just out of reach, mysterious, hard to pin down. Then there's Marcus. He's caring and thoughtful, but he tends to attract partners who need constant reassurance. His phone buzzes every 20 minutes. "Are we okay? You seem distant today. Why didn't you text me back faster?" Marcus loves deeply, but he also values his alone time, his hobbies, his independence. Yet somehow every relationship becomes this intense dance where he feels like he's constantly reassuring someone that, yes, he still cares. Yes, he wants to be with them. No, spending Saturday with his friends doesn't mean he's losing interest. And Jessica? She wants love desperately, but somehow sabotages every relationship right when it gets good. Hot and cold, close, then distant. Like she's dancing on the edge of commitment, but never quite stepping over. She'll have an amazing date, feel that flutter of real connection, and then something shifts. She becomes critical, picks fights. She finds reasons why this person isn't right for her. Or she disappears entirely, leaving confused partners wondering what they did wrong. Sound familiar? Here's what's wild. None of these people are choosing these patterns consciously. They're not waking up thinking, "Today, I'll date someone who stressed me out." They all want healthy, happy relationships. They're not broken or damaged. They're just following invisible blueprints they didn't even know existed. So what's really happening here? Here's the thing that changed everything for me when I learned it. Your adult relationships aren't random. They're following a blueprint that was written in your first relationships, the ones with your caregivers. Psychologists call this attachment theory, and it's beautifully simple. The way you learn to connect, to trust, to seek comfort as a child becomes the template your brain uses for all future relationships. Think about it like this. When you were little, you had to figure out how to get love and attention, how to feel safe, how to survive emotionally. Some kids learned that being good and quiet got them love. Others learned that making noise and demanding attention worked. Some learned that people leave, so don't get too attached. Others learned that love comes with conditions. Your brain, brilliant and adaptive, locked in these strategies. They worked in, they kept you emotionally alive. But here's the plot twist. Your brain is literally wired to seek what feels familiar. Not what's healthy, not what's good for you, what feels like home. Even if home was chaotic, unpredictable, or emotionally unavailable. And here's the kicker. About 60% of us develop what psychologists call insecure attachment styles. That means most of us are walking around with blueprints that don't serve us. We're trying to build healthy adult relationships with childhood survival strategies. But before you panic, here's the hope. These patterns aren't permanent. They're not your destiny. They're just familiar. And anything that's learned can be unlearned. Your brain is plastic, changeable, capable of creating new neural pathways at any age. So let's understand what we're working with. Imagine 4 different approaches to love, 4 different blueprints. The first is the secure blueprint. Love feels safe. About 40% of people have this style. These are the people who make relationships look easy. They're comfortable with closeness and comfortable with space. They can say, "I need some alone time," without it being a crisis. They can have difficult conversations without the world in. Sarah envies her secure friend Emma. How do you just trust that he'll text back? The second is the anxious blueprint. Love feels urgent. This is Sarah. About 20% of us. If you've ever analyzed a text message for 30 minutes, you know this blueprint. Love feels precious and fragile. You crave connection, but you're terrified of abandonment. You're the person who notices when your partner's texting style changes. You need reassurance, but when you get it, it never quite feels like enough. Pause here if this feels like you. Take a breath. There's nothing wrong with feeling deeply. The third is the avoidant blueprint. Love feels risky. About 25% of people. These are the Marcus magnets. They value independence above almost everything. They're incredibly self-reliant, which is beautiful, but intimacy can feel suffocating. They're not trying to hurt anyone. Their blueprint just whispers, too close equals trap. The fourth is the disorganized blueprint. Love feels chaotic. About 15% of us. This is Jessica. Part of them desperately wants love, but another part expects to be hurt. So they create push-pull dynamics. Close, then distant, available, then not. It's like wanting to swim, but being afraid of water. Now here's what's fascinating. These blueprints don't exist in isolation. They attract each other like magnets. Anxious people are drawn to avoidant people because the distance creates the very urgency they're familiar with. Avoidant people are drawn to anxious people because the clingy behavior confirms their blueprint that intimacy is overwhelming. It's like two people speaking different love languages, but thinking they're having the same conversation. So how do you change a blueprint that's been running your life? It starts with one simple question. What story am I trying to complete? I had a client, David, who realized he kept dating women who were projects, women who needed fixing, saving, or healing. He thought he was being noble. He'd tell himself he was just a caring person who saw potential in everyone. But when we dug deeper, we found his blueprint. As a kid, his mom struggled with depression. She'd spend days in bed, and David learned that his worth came from taking care of her, making her smile, being useful, being needed. His adult relationships were just him trying to complete that childhood story, proving his worth through caregiving. The moment he recognized this pattern, everything changed. Not because the pattern disappeared, but because it lost its invisible power over him. He could see it operating, which meant he could choose differently. Here are 3 steps to rewrite your blueprint. Step 1, notice your pattern. Look at your last few relationships, not the surface stuff, the deeper patterns. Do you always end up with emotionally unavailable people? People who need constant reassurance? People who create drama? People who are projects? People who are perfect on paper, but somehow always disappoint you? Write it down. Make it visible. Sometimes we need to see our patterns in black and white before we can acknowledge they exist. Step 2, connect the dots. Where did this pattern start? What did love look like in your family? What did you have to do to feel safe, seen, or valued? Did you have to be perfect? Did you have to be the caretaker? Did you learn that love was conditional, unpredictable, or dangerous? You're not blaming anyone. You're not making anyone wrong. You're just understanding your blueprint. Your caregivers were doing the best they could with their own blueprints. But understanding where your patterns come from gives you power over them. Step 3, choose differently. This is where it gets real. When you meet someone new, your blueprint will scream, "This doesn't feel right," when you encounter genuine security and healthy communication. If you're used to the anxiety of not knowing where you stand, someone who clearly communicates their feelings might feel boring. If you're used to being needed, someone who's emotionally self-sufficient might feel cold. If you're used to drama and intensity, healthy conflict resolution might feel flat. Your job is to breathe through that discomfort and choose growth over familiarity. To recognize that this feels weird doesn't mean this is wrong. Sometimes weird just means different, and different might be exactly what you need.
Here's what I want you to know. Your attachment style isn't your destiny. It's just your starting point. Every day, thousands of people are rewriting their love stories. They're choosing partners who feel a little unfamiliar at first, not because they're exciting or dramatic, but because they're peaceful, consistent, kind. Sarah learned to sit with the discomfort of dating someone who actually texted back consistently. At first, it felt too easy. Where was the challenge, the mystery, the chase? But slowly, she began to appreciate the calm, the security, the fact that she could focus on other parts of her life instead of constantly analyzing relationship dynamics. Marcus practiced letting his partners have space without it meaning rejection. He learned to say, "I need some alone time tonight," without following it up with 20 minutes of reassurance. He started attracting partners who valued independence as much as connection. Jessica learned to stay present in love, instead of running toward or away from it. She developed tools for managing her fear of intimacy. She learned to recognize when her old patterns were kicking in, and to pause before acting on them.
Here's the beautiful truth about secure attachment. It's not about finding the perfect person. It's about becoming the kind of person who can receive and give love consistently. It's about healing the parts of yourself that were wounded early, not by finding someone to fix them, but by learning to be securely attached to yourself first. Your heart has been trying to solve an old puzzle with new people, but you don't need to solve anything anymore. You just need to learn to receive the love that's actually available to you. The love that doesn't require you to be anxious, distant, or perfect. The love that just is. And here's what's amazing. As you heal your own attachment style, you naturally attract others who are doing the same work. Like attracts like. Security attracts security. Peace attracts peace. So here's your challenge for today. One small step. If you recognize yourself in the anxious blueprint, practice sitting with uncertainty for just 5 minutes today. Don't check your phone. Don't ask for reassurance. Just breathe. If you avoid it, try sharing one small vulnerable thing with someone you trust. Not because you have to, but because you want to practice intimacy in small doses. If you're disorganized, practice staying present in one moment today where you feel the urge to push or pull. Just stay right where you are. And here's what I really want you to do. Comment below and tell me which blueprint resonated with you. Not because I need to know, but because saying it out loud is the first step to changing it. If this video gave you that aha moment, hit subscribe. Every week, we're diving deep into the psychology that runs your life, so you can run it instead. Your love story isn't over. You're just learning to be both the author and the main character. See you next week.